So today we're going to be going over all of the best keepers. Now this year there is something totally different because we do now have playstyle pluses on keepers. So if we was to have a look, you have far throw, footwork, cross claimer, rush out, far reach and deflector. Now some keepers, for instance Edison, can have the long ball plus, and I believe Neuer has pinged pass as well. So it's not necessarily even just goalkeeping ones, and I must admit I've been trying out quite a lot of them. At the moment, in terms of what I'm seeing pretty decent, I personally like the rush out. I think that works really well. If you're constantly being like through balled, the keeper is absolutely rapid. Then obviously the far reach is quite a nice one, and depending on obviously how good you are at distributing, the far throw could have its uses as well. But in terms of some keepers, it doesn't necessarily matter. Now obviously Nick Pope is always going to be not necessarily a meta keeper, but he's going to be very good for the price that you're paying because they have got him at 6'6". Now, I'm pretty sure I checked and he's not actually 6'6" in real life. Whether it's just a glitch in the game, I'm pretty sure I saw him at 6'4". I could be wrong. I might have Googled it wrong in terms of anything, but in terms of a keeper and Prem, he's always going to be a fan favourite. Obviously, there is normal playstyles as well. For instance, he has footwork, and obviously the rolls is going to be a big thing also.
If you need coins in FC25, lootbar.gg has you covered. They are the cheapest trading platform on the game, 8 to 10% cheaper than any others, 8% off if you use the code JT11 at the end at checkout, plus you get 5% extra on coins, with the fastest delivery system going, used by many FC25 creators such as Zorky, Manny Plus, and even Pro owners. So if you need any coins, head over to lootbar.gg, make sure JT11's in the promo code, and hopefully you enjoy.
So you have the likes of Sweeper Keeper and also Goalkeeper. So obviously with Sweeper Keeper, it is how it sounds. And naturally, if you've got a plus or a plus plus, it will be as good as is going to be in there. You also then have the normal balanced Goalkeeper, which is pretty standard. Obviously, that one's going to be what a lot of people do choose because it's a fan favorite. It's very normal. I can imagine a lot of the roles in other positions are going to have far more weight to actually do anything. But for the keeper, I think the Goalkeeper plus and plus plus is going to be really where you want to go. And then also you do have the Goalkeeper defend. Personally for me, I'm much more happy going for the balanced Goalkeeper. I think it will work so much better. Now going into more of the topper keepers, we kind of see a Martinez. He's been one of my keepers that I've used for a fair few games, and the fact that he's packable, he's cheap, he's Prem, and 87 rated as well, to be fair to him, it's going to work in his favour quite well. He's got obviously the close down plus, is it rush out, I want to say? They might have actually changed the names a little bit. So if we go play styles, this one is, I'm pretty sure this one is called the rush out, but it just might have a different name to it. Yeah, so you've got the rush out plus, this is the 1v1 close down plus. Obviously it's going to work really well. He has got the Sweeper Keeper plus, but it doesn't necessarily matter. You could just go for the Goalkeeper one instead. Then moving up one, we've got Mindan, another one with the Deflector playstyle plus. This one's going to have a few far throw, he's going to have a cross claimer, and then he's got the Deflector plus. So this is obviously where basically he's going to push it into an area that is safer than normal. So for instance, if he's going to hit it from the left, he'll try and push it to the right away from everybody. That's just normally what's kind of the whole point for it. Now, I must admit he's kind of another one that is just cheap and affordable. He wouldn't necessarily be one I'd go out and buy. But as we go up, we now get into Edison. I think from now on, these are the keepers I personally would buy. And to be fair, if you are looking to just get a keeper and then keep him, you should be absolutely fine for that for quite some time, at least until Team of the Year. Now, obviously, with Edison, he has got the long ball plus, so that is going to be a very broken mechanic if you can utilize it really well. He can hit them wings with not a problem at all. He is the Sweeper Keeper plus plus, obviously, so if you want to dabble in that, he is going to be pretty decent again with his feet. Now, stats-wise, we won't really go over too much because, to be honest, there isn't necessarily like a big correlation at the moment. Yes, as you go up to the 88s and the 90s, they're going to have better stats. But I don't think really there is that much correlation between them because most keepers, for instance, Kobal's next, it's only really kicking that he's got a major difference. Obviously, speed is there, but to be fair, Again, I never see a correlation with that. I tried thinking speed was the big thing, and honestly, some of the keepers had the worst speed going in comparison to some really good speed keepers, and it made zero difference. With Coble, he has got the rush out plus as well, or the 1v1 close down, another cheap keeper that you can go and get. We then move into Donnarumma, who's always been a fan favourite. He has got the Deflector Plus, which I think is good, but I most definitely would prefer Rush Out or Far Reach. Maybe even Cross Claimer, just for them crosses, quite literally. Because the Deflector, I feel like he's kind of pushing that animation to actually parry the shot as much. But again, we will get more data as we go through with some more informed keepers, some keepers that get playstyle pluses added, and we'll see how it goes. It will also be interesting to see if we get 2 playstyle pluses on keepers. That will be the next thing that we'll kind of go for. Then moving up one, we've got Allison, one of my favourite keepers. Obviously the Deflector Plus again, and in terms of stats, like we said, we're looking pretty gravy across the board. Obviously good reflexes, handling, diving, kicking is just one of them ones, and then the positioning's going to be very good as well. I just think in terms of keepers, as you go up the ranks, it's about the same. And then if we go one more, we've obviously got the rush out in Courtois. He is my new keeper now, and probably the one that I'll end up keeping unless I do get an icon, which are in this list as well. So make sure you are here for that. So with obviously Courtois, he's got the sweeper keeper plus, very tall, 6'7". He's always been number one in my opinion when it comes to goalkeepers in the gold variety for a fair few years now. Which then leads us to the final gold goalkeeper in the list, and then we move on to the icons. Obviously with ter Stegen, you've got himself the footwork plus. Again, not terrible. Exclusive foot save animations and an even better performance against low trajectory shots, which most definitely could be utilised very, very well. Most of the keepers are sweeper keepers, bar from Donnarumma and Coble. Everybody else is kind of more based around that sweeper keeper, which is always interesting to see, to be honest. Now, one keeper in terms of the hero variety, I would like him as he gets upgraded. It's why it's only been mentioned today, rather than necessarily say go out and buy him. He's only 83,000, which isn't terrible for a keeper, but in terms of what he possesses, I feel like he's going to be one that's worth looking at once he gets another upgrade. He's got the far throw plus. He is a goalkeeper plus as well, but I would say at 85, I personally would wait and see what he gets in the near future. Which then leads us to the icons, because I don't think Dudek and Campos are really even worth mentioning in this game. I feel like a lot of people have already gone into their icon or gold goalkeepers, and to be honest, you can keep that until Team of the Year. Unless there's a random Donnarumma Player of the Month or a random special card that comes out that everybody wants to do, then fair enough. But at this point, I would say the icons are going to be the way to go. Now, obviously, the kind of mid-tier ones, you're looking at Czech, you're looking at Schmeichel, you're looking at Casillas. All of them have great capabilities, and at the start of the game, I'd say all of them are fantastic at what they do. They will give you a decent amount as well. Obviously with them, they are going to come at a price as well. That's going to be the given for this. They're not necessarily going to be cheap. We've got these keepers coming in at Casillas at 385. We've got Schmeichel at 340 and Czech at 330. So prices are still very much on the absolute top. We then move into the man with a hat in 92, Yashin. He's coming in at 500,000 with a far reach plus. So that's going to be, not far reach, cross claimer plus. And again, he's going to be one of the better goalkeepers you can get in the game. But my top two in terms of what I personally would want would obviously be a Van der Sar. Naturally, he's 5'88", which is just crazy priced already. 6'6". He again is always going to be as meta as anything for me. He's got himself the goalkeeper plus, which I think is perfect. The rush out plus. But my personal favourite when it comes to goalkeepers has always got to be Buffon. I have heard massive things about him. He's coming in at 790. He's obviously got himself a lovely far reach plus, and obviously the roles of the goalkeeper plus. But with Buffon, I can imagine they are always going to boost him up massively. He is an absolute iconic goalkeeper. And as we go forward again, with potential upgrades for him, if we could get like a 95, 96 Buffon by the end of the game, it is going to be incredible. But that's going to be the list for today. Let me know down below who your goalkeeper is, and do you want to get Buffon as well? Peace.